Hello everyone! Here's a new chapter of my Farren Dale Kingdom story. Last time, Phibius the hyena reveals a secret event occurred from his childhood. Poor little guy, left in the rain as a cub, was fought by a small dragon for his bread. The encounter left him with a scar on his paw and a heightened fear of sharing his food, along with dragons. Combined, he is nervous about meeting the couple's companion Hemlock. After some well-needed comforting, he agrees to visit the pine sap golden dragon. Let's see what happens next. Hesitating but brave, little Phibius held Willow's hand as the two peered off into the distance. The mountains stood quietly and tall, covered in speckles of pine forests. The small wooded cabin of the retreat of Amber Willow and her partner Lavisa nestled itself serenely into the scenery as the sunset dripped down. Sitting with wings outstretched, soaking up the glory of the coming evening, was Lord Hemlock, the protector and guardian of the vast nature and forest masses. Phibius held on to Willow tightly and nervously. She spoke to him as they walked closer. Now his scales were visible from the closer distance. "Don't worry, Phib. I can promise you that all of my encounters with Hemlock have been kindred and sweet. He wouldn't hurt a fly," she said. She watched as the furry creature's golden deep eyes shook to and fro, thinking. He gathered some gumption and strict bravery as he unlatched his paw pads from Willow's palm. He took a big sniff and closed his eyes for a moment. Then he fled down the hill, arms outstretched, and landed with a thunk into the big dragon. Hemlock poked his neck up surprised and peered down at the now worried and regretful face of small Phibius. "May I ask, are you trying to attack me or hug me, sir?" Hemlock bellowed, unafraid, but struck with confusion. Phibius shivered and froze with his own fear as he replied, "Neither, Mr. Hemlock. I'm facing you, once and for all. Now please don't eat me. I have so many more years left," he pleaded. Hemlock chuckled and took Phibius by the back of his coat and lifted him off of his chest and set the quivering creature back on his feet ahead of him. "Little hyena, I reckon I am not one for eating flesh. Pine cones, on the other hand. You don't happen to have any of those in your pockets, do you? Because you'd be sad to be mistaken by their scent." Hemlock saw that the creature below him took that with all seriousness as he gulped. "Oh, I'm sorry, I was joking. I wouldn't eat you. I'm not your average Draco, rather a friend. I protect these forests around us." Phibius reached out a paw and gently felt the large plates of scales on Hemlock's large chest. He knocked on them like a door before speaking. "But, Hemlock, you are very sharp. If you are not meant for killing, what are your giant plates of armor for?" he nervously asked, honestly curious why a fire-breathing and evil dragon would have such terrifying sharp scales, and this plant-eater would also have them too. Hemlock took his big talons and plucked a scale from his back. "Don't worry, little one, this one was shedding anyways. Have it, my gift to you. You will understand the answer well enough." Phibius took hold of the heavy scale he could barely hold as it slipped through his paws. His reflection appeared in it, and trees waved around in the breeze behind him through it. He smiled as he then understood what Hemlock meant. "I understand, Lord. You are a guardian. You must have your own protection. The nature here is one of the most important aspects of this society, but you look so familiar, though." He held out his hand and looked at his scar. He explained to the dragon his past and fear of dragons. Hemlock's face shifted to look sorrowful. No, I assure you, I haven't been there while you were a cub. I was raised in a magnificent place among other magical beings, waiting for their lesson as an elemental guardians for this world, an heir to the throne of nature, not a foul thing, but a defender of everything, including those as yourself," he said. Phibius felt very relieved. He had stopped shivering by now as he felt almost safe near the dragon. "Well, Hemlock, I'm relieved to hear this. I'd never known I would feel anything but horrified near a dragon. I came here to share this meal with you from Willow and Lou." He held out the wrapped slice of cheesy, veggie-topped, delectable food. Hemlock smiled widely and accepted his gift. After he devoured the bit of scrumptious food, he thanked him for his bravery greatly as the darkness crept in. The two parted their ways and went home. This left the couple as they watched, smiling and happy, walking back to their tower. The night fell happily and safely as they prepared their room for the evening. Willow rummaged through jars of buttons and finished some sewing and crafts. She opened a notebook reading notes of the spiritual realms and world. She opened up to a page about griffins, fabled and exciting creatures she believed in as a child. She could have sworn she saw one fly above her the other afternoon when she was thinking about this. Too large for an eagle or vulture, grayish-brown in color. She dropped a ribbon into the crinkled page to remind her of it. The couple retreated to their bed happily, the light, happy sound of rain sprinkling in the wind on their pointed roof every couple of minutes sounded. They accomplished a lot today, and the perfect way for Willow to end the night was in the arms of her partner and warm in her quilts. To be continued.